If you're a car detailer or run a car detailing business and you're barely scraping by, struggling to make money, earning less than $5,000 per month, then this is for you. In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to be breaking down the 3 biggest mistakes that are actually keeping you broke and how to fix them. I'll show you exactly what it takes to go from barely breaking even, making less than $5,000 per month, to making over $10,000, $20,000, even $30,000 per month in a very short amount of time. Okay, so stay until the very end because I'm going to give you some actionable tasks that you can implement right away that'll help you grow your detailing business. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, if you're wondering who I am and why you should actually listen to me, I'm going to just quickly explain what I've done and what I've been able to do, okay? So my name's Wilton-Jones. I've built multiple detailing businesses from starting a car wash when I was 18, built that to 2 different locations, sold that, went traveling for a while, built a mobile detailing business, quickly grew that to 6 figures. We did like $112,000 in the first 12 months, okay? Ended up selling that, moving overseas again, right? And now I've set up a premium car detailing shop, right? Last month we did $35,000 revenue. This month we'll do about $25,000 revenue. It's been pretty consistent around that 20 to 30K range, okay? So it's safe to say that I know what I'm doing when it comes to building detailing businesses. Now, I also help others grow detailing businesses, okay? You're on this video, you're listening to me, okay? This is what I specialize in. I specialize in helping guys go from either zero, right, starting from scratch, or they are stuck, below $5,000 per month and just can't seem to get above that 5K per month, 20K per month range. As you can see here, there's just a couple results that we've had over the past sort of 6 months or so. I've been able to help these guys scale their businesses, right? So we helped Ethan get to over $140,000 in maintenance clients alone per year. Okay, he's doing over 30K per month with total revenue. Okay, half of that is pretty much maintenance clients. He's built up a calendar stack full of maintenance clients, right? Super amazing. Danny from Lusted Detailing helped him get to over 40K per month. All right, last month he did $43,000. Okay, month of June he did 40K or just under. Okay, helped James go from zero. James was basically no experience at all. Helped him go from zero to over $10,000 within 6 months. That took him just 6 months. Okay, went from 0 to 10K. So as you can see, it's not impossible to take your business to the next level. Okay, getting above that $5,000 mark is not out of reach. It's actually really simple when you implement simple strategies. Okay. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the 3 biggest mistakes, okay, that are actually keeping you broke, right? And how we can fix those 3 mistakes, okay? So let's dive into it. All right, as you can see here, I have got some boxes, right? A bit of a diagram going on, okay? Now at the end of this video, towards the end of this video, I'm going to break down 3 actionable steps that you can take today to start implementing these fixes so that you can get you on your way towards a more profitable and more revenue generating business. Okay. That's what we want. We want more revenue, but we also want to be more profitable. Okay. Those 2 are completely different things. If you're just earning revenue, but you're not breaking even, you're losing money, you're just going to be treading water, right? That's not the type of business we want to build here. We want to build profitable businesses, but also earning a shit ton of money. Okay. So 3 biggest mistakes that are keeping detailers broke. Mistake number 1 is your pricing. Really basic, but most guys are undercharging, okay? And that is doing everyone harm. You're not doing anyone any good if you're undercharging, okay? There is a market rate for this service, right? This is not some new service. This is not some special unicorn product that has never been used before. People know how much to pay for a car detailing service. There is a market rate. There are competitors in your area, and there is an average rate that you should be charging. You should not be charging under that market rate. Okay, if you are undercutting the market, you're just devaluing yourself. You're devaluing the entire industry. you're not going to be profitable. You're definitely not going to last long in this business. Okay. You're going to be working many hours and making minimum amount of money. And it's just not good for the industry. Like I said, you're just like doing the whole industry a disservice by undercutting the market. Okay. Bringing it all down, making it much harder for other businesses to actually compete as well. Right. And also, you're attracting the wrong type of customer. It's a different type of customer who will pay $100 for a full detail to one that will pay $300 for a full detail. Okay, so a different type of customer there as well, right? The customers that are just bargain hunters looking for cheap services typically aren't the nicest customers to deal with either, right? They always pick out that little speck of sand that you missed and then they ask for a refund, right? I don't like those type of customers. So don't undercut the market. Don't devalue your service, right? Price your service at the market rate, if not above, okay? Now that's kind of the fix there. Let's talk about the next mistake, right? You don't have a core offer, okay? You have that one cheap service and that's what you're offering, basic detail, right? Or full detail. You don't have a core offer of services, okay? So you want to have that core service, which is like your bread and butter, okay? So not having a core service just means most likely leading into this next mistake, right? That you either just have one offer, which is just a basic detail and you're undercharging, or you've got a menu stacked full of different services that is all confusing and complicated, right? Making it confusing and complicated for the customer. Too many random services, no clear structure. Clients will default to the cheapest option. Think about it. Like, you are the expert, right? You essentially need to be diagnosing their problems that they have and then coming up with the solution, a customized solution for their problems, right? They don't necessarily know what they know what they want, right? You're going to find it very difficult, or if at all, customers will book their own ceramic coating service, and very unlikely. If you've got, let's just say, 5 or 6 different services on a menu, you hand it to a customer and you go, choose this. You've got basic, premium, extra premium, like super premium or whatever. Most of them are going to choose the first 2 cheapest options. They're not going to choose those more expensive options in most cases. Okay. So what's the fix there? We'll talk about it. But essentially, you don't want to have a menu that's scattered with too many options and too many prices and too many services. Okay. It's going to overwhelm the customer. There's actually a thing, it's called decision fatigue. It's the real thing. When you look at a menu, you're overwhelmed by the amount of services there. You just get decision fatigue. You just default to the cheapest option. Okay, what they think is the best option, right? So what is the fix for these mistakes, right? What's the actual fix? I think you guys get an idea. It's not rocket science, okay? The fix for underpricing, okay, is to make sure you have an offer, right? You don't have to just have like your expensive offers and that's it. You can have a cheaper option, right, as like an attraction offer to get them in the door, and then you upsell from there essentially. But don't undercut the market, right? If you're doing $99 or $200 details, make sure that what you're actually included in that service is valued at that price, right? So you don't want to be going out there and doing full details for $120, okay? That $99 service that you have, or that $150 service that you have, you can still have that price range, but make sure whatever is included in that service is actually valued at that price, right? So for us, we have a $99 6-month protection package, okay? And this brings people in the door, gets them interested. Oh, you have a $99 protection package. Yes, right? And then we upsell. Would you like to add on a 12-month sealant? Would you like to add on the interior to that? And all of a sudden, that $99 service that we were promoting now becomes a $350, $400, $500 service. We're not undercutting the market there. The simple fix for that is make sure you understand what your competitors are charging and charge above market rate, okay, in the upper range of the market. And then also have, you don't have to get rid of those cheap prices, that cheap offer that you have. You can still have that in your promotion, right? But have it as like a attraction offer to get people in the door, and then you upsell from there, okay? Have a core offer, Okay, this is like your bread and butter. You want to make sure you have one core offer or two core offers. Okay, so for us, our core offer is a full interior deep clean, full exterior wash, and a 6-month sealant. That's like our core service that we push on most customers, right? So we still have a $99, entry level service, and then we upsell into the core service. Okay, but we don't give them the menu to choose. We actually do the selling. Okay, we're the one that guides them through the service. The only thing that they see is whatever we're promoting in any given month, right? So the core service can be anywhere from $350 to $500. Okay, that's like the bread and butter. That's where most customers will tend to go towards, okay? Because not everyone wants to spend $1,000 on a paint correction and a ceramic coating. So you have a core service, okay? And then you have a premium service, okay? And the premium service is anything from like $1,000, okay, to, I don't know, a few $1,000s, depending on what like services you're offering. But the premium service will involve, ceramic coatings and that sort of service, okay? So this is how we structure our prices, okay? We have an entry-level price at $99. And we have another one that's like $149 as well if they want to upgrade to a 12-month sealant, okay? And then we have the core service, which we funnel them into after that, which is $350 to $500. It's like a full detail. That's what that service is, okay? And then we have the premium service, which is $1,000 plus, okay? Now, we don't give this to our customers and say, hey, choose what service you want. Right, we attract them in with one offer. Okay, so if we're running meta ads, for example, we'll have a promotion going that's like one offer. We bring them in with that offer. Okay, for example, $99 6-month sealant. Okay, we bring them in with that, and then we upsell to additional services. Okay, which I'll talk about a little bit later on. But essentially, you want to make sure you structure your prices so that you have a hook or an attraction offer, right, that brings people in, something valuable that everyone wants, okay? Then you have a core service, which is like your bread and butter. It's the most popular service that people opt for because they want a full interior, they want a full exterior, okay? Then you have your premium services. You upsell customers into those premium services, okay? These are the ceramic coating services, right? Higher profit services as well. These can all be very profitable if you set them up correctly, right? So that's the fix for your prices, okay? Simple. Don't undercut the market. Make sure you have core services and make sure you are upselling into a premium service, okay? All right, let's move on to mistake number 2, wasting time. You're wasting time on the details. Where do you think the biggest expenses with a car detailing business? What's the biggest expense? Take a wild guess. I'll let you guess for a few seconds. Like the biggest expense in a car detailing business, our time detailing the cars, right? That's the biggest expense. Labor is the biggest expense in this business. Okay. So if labor is the biggest expense, well, how do we decrease that expense? Well, we need to, or how do we maximize the revenue or the return on investment for every hour spent, for every bit of hour spent on labor? Well, we need to ensure that we are efficient. Okay. So these are the biggest mistakes when it comes to wasting time. Number 1, perfection on low ticket work. You are treating $99 details like $1,000 coding job. You are going above and beyond. Right now, when you're first starting out, this can be beneficial because you're building the customer relationships and you're getting reviews and you're getting content, okay? So it can be beneficial to go above and beyond in the early stages. You're not going to be, maximizing every single hour, right? It's going to take you longer. And eventually, you're not going to need to do that, okay? There is a limit to how much work you should be doing on each job depending on the service that they have chosen, the service that they've paid for. Mistake 2, over-focusing on interiors, okay? Biggest time sink with the lowest return. If you are focused on interiors, well, guess what? You're going to get more interiors, okay? And if interior details are the least profitable service in your business, then don't focus on them, okay? Or at least price really high for them, okay? So, and with interior details, we upsell into interiors, into full details, etc., but we price them accordingly, okay? We don't want to be spending too much time on interiors. Now, the thing is with interiors, right? They can be good, they can be bad. Okay, you just never know what you're going to get. Sometimes with exteriors, when it comes, with all cars, it can be good, it can be bad. You're never going to be able to get it perfect, but like in some ways, you can sort of predict the average amount of time that it takes for you to detail a car. Okay, that leads into the next mistake is you don't have time targets, right? Every job just takes as long as it takes, right? And there's no consistency, which is critical in this business because, like I said, biggest expense is your time detailing the car. So if you don't have consistency, you don't understand how long it takes you to detail the interior, the exterior, whatever, okay, it's going to be hard for you to work out your margins, right? I.e. your profit margins, which is very important. So you don't have any time targets, okay? And then mistake number 4, no system, no checklist, right? You do things in random order, okay? You basically you go back and forth to the detailing van or your car 20 different times, getting 20 different tools, and you're wondering why it's taking you so long. Okay. You don't have a proper system in place, you don't have a checklist, or maybe you did, but now you've become complacent and you're kind of just doing things on random. How do we fix these? Number 1 is you want to cut and limit low value tasks, right? So stop delivering on cheap jobs. So basically, if you're doing a $99 detail, make sure whatever you are delivering is worth $99, okay? Some services are not going to be as profitable as others. That's fine, but you still need to understand where to draw the line, okay? We can't be detailing for ourselves. We're detailing for the customer. We're detailing to meet the customer's expectations. If you start going above expectations, you're going to be cutting into your margins. There is a time and a place to go above expectations, right? I feel like if you set expectations from the start and you go slightly above them, that is going to be a very good approach. Okay. 2 is to audit your job time. Make sure you audit every job, how long it takes you. Okay. Make sure you track how long tasks take. Okay. Everything you're doing. It's similar to this next one. Set time targets. Make sure you do set a time and actually track that time. Okay. And then you want to have a system plus a checklist, for the way you do your jobs. Okay. How do you detail the wheel? Have you got a system for that? How do you wash the exterior? How do you vacuum the interior? Okay. How many times do you go back and forth to the van? Okay. You want to have a system for every part of the process. Okay. It's called an SOP, or a standard operating procedure. Without it, you're never going to be able to understand how to improve. Okay. Because if everything is just at random and messy, you can't actually get results because you can't track, right? You should be starting at point A and finishing at point Z or B or whatever every single time. So starting at the same place, finishing at the same place every single time. And the only time you change something is if you want to test whether or not you can improve the time and the result. Okay. So there's a metric, or the saying that I like to use when it comes to detailing a vehicle. You want to use the least amount of effort, right, to get the desired result. Okay, so the least amount of effort to get the desired result. That's just, think about that every time you're doing a job. Do you need to get out the specific tool? Like, for example, right, if you're detailing a vehicle, okay, and it doesn't need a deep clean, it just needs a quick spray and wipe, why are you getting out the steamer and why are you getting out the heated carpet extractor? There's no need, right? Because you're using more effort, more tools, more energy to get the exact same result, okay? So use the least amount of effort, energy to get the desired result. Another example, which is kind of similar, is like, if you don't need to use iron remove, let's just say you're doing a paint correction, right? And you notice there's no tar on the car at all. There's just a couple, little bits of contaminants here and there, but there's no tar. So you don't need to, use a tar remover or an iron remover. You can just use a clay towel or a perforated clay towel, right? You've come to this realization. And that realization, if you were to go and use iron remover or a tar remover, a chemical tar remover, you're just going to be wasting product, wasting time, wasting energy. Of course, you're not going to do that. There's no need to do that. but the result is still going to be exactly the same. Okay. Using less effort. You want to use that approach with every part of the vehicle. The customer doesn't need to know whether or not you used a perforated clay towel or a chemical iron remover. But they don't care about the process. They only care about the result. You need to also remember that the customer only cares about the result. You're not paid based on how much time you spend at the vehicle. You're paid based on the value you provide. Normally, it's a set rate, okay? So the quicker you get it done, the more you're going to get paid. Let's move on to mistake number 3. There's no ascension. So what this means is there's no ladder to take customers from the bottom to the top. Customers are stuck on entry-level jobs. So let's just say you do have that $99 or $150 job. They get stuck on that, right? There's no way to upsell them. There's no way to move them up the ladder, okay? They're treated as a one-time transaction. A lot of detailers, I see a lot of guys do this. They just treat their customers as one-time transactions, okay? Oh, cool, that customer used my service. Never going to see him again. I'm going to move on to try and find the new customer. Big mistake, right? There's no clear path upward, so you don't have a ladder essentially taking customers from the bottom to the upsell, to the core service, the premium service, okay? Then you don't have a downsell, right? There's no safety net. You don't have a downsell. Let's just say a customer declines your core service. What do you do then? You just lose the sale, right? If they say no, you lose them completely. It's a big mistake I see. Most detailers don't have a backup plan for when a customer declines or they say it's too expensive, right? You just think, oh, they can't afford my services. That's it. Move on to the next one. You've lost that customer. They potentially would have spent thousands of dollars with you. Maybe. I can talk about that in a moment, right? And then you've got no retention. So no maintenance program. You start from zero every single month, okay? The worst thing that you can do is look at your calendar next month and see it empty. Isn't that just absolutely discouraging? You know, looking at a calendar for the next month and going, shit, I have to find customers. I have to actually get customers. That is just big mistake, okay? You do not want to be doing that. One of the best things you can do as a business is generate reoccurring, predictable revenue. The only way to do that is to get your customers coming back again and again and again, okay? So how do we fix these? Well, I'll show you. Use an attraction offer, okay? Something we sort of spoke about already. Something that will get customers in the door, right? And then you upsell them to the core service, okay? So you're always constantly upselling, right? You upsell, right? If you bring a customer in at a $99 detail or a $150 detail or even a $200 detail, okay? You bring them in with an attraction offer. It might be $200 exterior plus an express interior plus the sealant or something like that. However you want to structure your service, right? And then you upsell them into a longer term sealant or a paint decontamination or a paint correction, a ceramic coating, a paint enhancement. There are a ton of different services that you can use to upsell your customers. The most important thing is that you are taking customers from that entry offer that they first became interested in, right? And you are moving them up the ladder. Now, this doesn't always happen on the first day, okay? Maybe someone comes in for your express detail, okay, on day one. You do an amazing job, right? And then the next month they want to come back and they want to get a paint enhancement and a ceramic coating. I've had it happen so many times where I've been able to convert a basic interior detail or someone who just wanted to come in for an interior detail, and we moved them into we upsold them into a $1,200 ceramic coating. Okay, so many times I've had that happen where customers come in thinking they just want a basic detail, thinking they just want the exterior done or the exterior wash, whatever it was, okay? And I've been able to upsell them into additional services, extracting more value from that customer and providing more value to them as well, okay? We're not scam artists. We're actually providing a lot of value for these customers, okay? We just need to use the art of persuasion and guidance that recommend them the best service, okay? Now, let's just say someone says no. They're like, oh, I can't afford $1,200. It's out of my budget. You lose the sale, right? Most detailers would lose the sale, okay? But you don't have to. you can downsell, you can capture a certain percentage of people, right? You're not going to capture everyone. Like, not everyone is going to convert to the downsell. It's a numbers game, right? All of this is a numbers game. Okay. But you need to have a downsell option. You need to have a backup plan. Okay. You don't want to lose customers. There is a point where they're just not the right fit for your business, and they're just like not the right customer. Okay. You guide them off or recommend them to go down to the drive-through car wash. That might be a better fit for them. Okay. But in most cases, someone that's inquired about premium detailing services or just car detailing services, who can't afford a $350 detail right now, but still wants to get something done, okay, customize the plan or come up with a downsell option for them. Hey, well, look, no problem. I understand you can't afford the $350 premium detail. What we could do is we could do a full exterior detail with you. We can still apply a 6-month sealant, and we'll do an express interior, and we'll do that for $250. How does that sound? Right? And then they're probably going to go, oh, that's actually much better. Yeah, let's go for that. Let's go for that. And then what happens, and I've seen this happen so many times as well, is you turn up to the job, right? You've turned up to that downsell job, right? And then they've changed their mind and they go, hey, look, why don't you just go and just do the full package? Just do the full package. And then you're like, cool. So you end up getting that $350 detail anyway. It's happened so many times, honestly. It is a matter of getting good at communication, right? Upselling customers by using, certain script, using a certain strategy. By the way, if you want a script that I've used, click the description below. I've got like a client converting script in there that you can use to help upsell services. But yeah, you need to have like a bit of a script, okay? And then you want to downsell, and then also maintenance clients. You want to be getting clients on your maintenance program. You need that reoccurring revenue coming through, okay? Convert your clients into maintenance clients, okay? Full detail clients, ceramic coating clients, you want to make them maintenance clients. The easiest way to do this is to just simply, at the end of the detail, right, they've just come and paid for the service. You say, hey, are you happy with the service we've done? They're going to go, yes. Then you could say, cool, would you consider using my services again in the future? And they're probably going to say yes, okay? And then you say, all right, amazing. So what sort of, would you be interested in getting this done on a regular basis, And then they're probably going to say, oh yeah, maybe like every month or every 2 months or so. And then you can say, well, perfect. Well, look, how about this? I've got the perfect solution for you. Rather than paying, $350 every single time, we offer a maintenance plan, right? And it's only going to cost you $120 per month. How does that sound? And then they're probably going to go, oh, I don't know about that. Well, what about every 2 months? We lock it in now. We put it on there for $120. And that way you don't have to think about it, right? We're going to come out here, make it look as new as possible every single time. And you know what? I'll even throw in a 12-month sealant for you every 6 months, right? And you make it really enticing for them. It's going to be hard for them to say no, right? And then if they're not keen on that, you can negotiate even further. Well, what are you sort of thinking? Are you wanting this done every 3 months or every 4 months? Or something else, right? And you just get them to kind of communicate. Oh, they might say, oh, I'll just get back to you, right? And then you say, well, rather than you having to think about it, right? Why don't I just save you the hassle? I'll put it on the calendar for 6 months from now. I'll give you the repeat client discount, right? Or however you want to frame it, okay? The maintenance discount, okay? And we'll do it for X amount, right? And we'll get in touch with you to confirm everything closer to the day. They're most likely going to say yes, okay? The goal for you, right, after every single job is to get that customer booked on your calendar again. That is your primary goal. As soon as you've finished that job, you immediately need to go into that mind frame of get that customer on your calendar again before you leave, okay? And eventually it's going to compound, and then you'll be looking at your calendar next month and you'll go, damn, I got 20 jobs on next month and I haven't even got a new customer. Okay, that's how you build a sustainable, profitable business. Okay, so let's talk about these actionable tasks. Right now, action task number 1, okay, is to build out your profitable pricing ladder. Okay, so come up with 3 or 4 different services, okay, that you can offer. One being the attraction offer at the front, at the start, that brings customers in. The second being your core offer, which is like the main service that you want customers to get. And then the third and fourth can be your premium ceramic coating services that you push customers into. Okay. Stop undercutting your market. Increase your prices. Make sure your full detail price resembles that of the rest of the market. Okay. Make sure it is in the upper range of the market. Okay. So write down your 3 or 4 services, the exact price today. Step 2, protect your time. Okay. Cut perfection on cheap jobs. Order every task for 1 week. Set targets, set time targets, plus create a checklist. Okay. On your next job, run a stopwatch. Okay. Set up your phone. Okay. And compare your actual time that it takes compared to what you predicted, right? Or what your target was. Okay, this is going to give you a better idea on how long it's actually taking you to perform each task within the detail itself and the entire detail itself. Okay, and then step 3, create a client ascension path, right? So make sure you have that level. Really important. Similar to kind of step 1, and rather than being price related, though, this is making sure you do have a ladder to move customers into. You've got entry, you've got core, you've got premium, and then you've got maintenance. Okay. You want to be pushing your clients through that entire ladder. Okay. Now, some clients might go straight from entry to premium. Some might just go core to maintenance, right? It's going to chop and change. That doesn't matter. What does matter is that you actually have a ladder, a funnel in place, right? So that you can push customers from your entry level offer into the premium offers and eventually maintenance, which is the ultimate goal for every single one of your customers. Okay. The action here is to write out a script so that you can upsell and downsell your customers. Again, I got a link below with a script that you can go ahead and access. Okay. But you never want to read a script word for word. You want to use it as a reference point. You want to come up with something that's authentic, genuine, okay, and conversational is important. You never want to sound robotic when you are upselling or downselling. You want to make it sound like, well, hey, look, why don't we can do this for you. I got the perfect thing for you right here. Instead of doing this, we can do this, right? So those are your tasks, okay? Go ahead and do those. Now, if you want some additional training, okay, I have got a link below, a free training. At the end of that, there's an option. If you want to schedule a call with either me or one of my teammates, we can sort of give your business a bit of an audit and determine whether or not, we can help you, because maybe you want to join the academy. I don't know. All right. But anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and see you in the next video.